This isn't a running ad from REI, because it's mostly walking and occasionally flying. It's hitting your favorite trail with your favorite people who showed up for the same unhinged reason. And it's not just about fastest known times, but finding the funnest times. Because this isn't running, it's trail running. Get your gear for the trail in-store or at rei.com.
This episode is brought to you by Regret and Bad Choices.
Are you ready?
Starting now?
Oh, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
But
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now.
Hey, everybody. Before we jump into this week's episode, some of our episodes may contain sponsored content, affiliate links, or promotional partnerships. If we ever recommend something, it's because we truly believe that it may provide value to our audience. And now, on to the episode.
All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. Did you hear it, Kev? Did you hear it?
What? What did I hear?
I have a voice back.
Oh!
Another!
Wow. All right.
Yeah, you know what? It's I still get a little bit of a dry cough at night, but yeah, whatever that fucking thing was that I had, it was no fun. It tagged on to me for quite a while. Like I say, still a little bit of a cough at night, but which is weird because all during the day, for the most part, I'm good. But yeah, I don't know.
I guess you just had to go a little south or something.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other thing. We could talk about that as we get into it. But so if you're a new listener, the reason that
right.
I don't know why you should listen. Just, you know what? We're a lot of fun. We're not like anyone else out there, if nothing else. I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm guessing it's not necessarily good, bad, or indifferent. We are just not like everyone else out there, which we're kind of proud of, I think. Right, Mike?
Yes? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, kind of fuck everyone else. And hopefully if you stick around for a minute or two and maybe an episode or so, then you might, I don't know, we probably grow on you like
mold.
Fungus or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, fungus. But so real quick, see the and I mentioned the Zencaster update, and Mike as he was logging in got a brand new screen, and I had something different too. When I sent you the link, I don't know if you've noticed it didn't have the episode number in it.
I didn't even pay attention.
The only reason and it just caught my eye. It's just like, I'm so used to doing this. There's this rhythm to this thing that I do every week, which again is not hard, but just you notice something just a tad out of place.
Yes, I'm noticing now. There's no episode number.
Yeah, and I looked at it.
I don't know where I'm at, man.
And I'm like, well, we're on episode 234, just in case. Just in case you want to know and everyone else wants to know. Yeah. Episode 234, folks.
Right.
But so I saw that, and then I looked back.
234.
I know. Yeah, it's numbers. Fun with numbers tonight too. So if you're a new listener, you get to do that too. We play with numbers and have fun with numbers too.
Sure.
But so I look back at last week's episode. I'm like, I know it was in there, and it was set up differently because it's got my beginning my email address in there also, plus the episode number.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, at least it's just you. If it doesn't work, then we can fucking figure it out. But so long story short, there was a power outage, and the update on Zencaster was on Tuesday, and I planned on going in on Tuesday afternoon. There was no power until I got down here. I'm in Indianapolis. I'll talk about that later, but I didn't get down here until Wednesday afternoon. So I mean, I didn't have service and blah blah blah. But so when I finally get in to check it out, it's the same. It looked the same, and I'm like, except for one thing. If you look, I don't know, is your message thing different where it says messages and footnotes? Okay, so I noticed that right away, but everything else is the same. At least it looks the same on my end.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. So then I read back at the email, and what they did is they have this new thing. So it's the new software. But what it said was, and I'm guessing if you weren't on a higher level, which clearly we weren't,
right?
Like a higher level of what we're paying for,
right?
Because they said that. Hang on one second. So here's the email. It says, "Great news! Built new generation of Zencaster. Blah blah. Upgraded you to an enterprise plan." So we were not on whatever enterprise plan is. We were not on that. So it says,
"Who's Kirk and who's Spock?"
I don't know. How big are your fucking ears? I think my ears are probably bigger than yours. So
all right, live long and prosper.
Yeah, exactly. So said we know, so you can check it out whenever you're ready. So obviously the upgrade. We know you depend on Zencaster to run your show, so we're not forcing you to make any changes. Our enterprise plan includes a version switcher, so you can move between the current and new versions freely. And I'm like, all right. Okay. So when I logged in, it was on the old version. Then I read back and saw where I could do it, and I flipped in the new version. I've got a black screen, which I think you probably do too.
Yeah, I always have.
Yeah, same here. And I flipped over, and it was white and different things, and I could see whatever. And I'm like, I'm not gonna even try to fuck with it because I didn't have to, And
right.
I know this works, and what we talked about, we know what we need, and I don't feel like fucking with it. But
right.
So here's a list of what the new thing has. New interface for editing. I don't edit within this. HD live streaming like we did with Riverside. So I'm like, that's Riverside-ish. Because it goes straight from Zencaster to Twitch and YouTube. So Riverside went to YouTube. AI-assisted pre- and post-production. We don't use that. Easy clipping. We don't use that. Publish everywhere. It's already done when we upload it to Spotify. Go visual. Nope, don't need to do that.
Right.
A network, meet other podcasters. Fuck them. We don't need to do that. Yeah. New monetization. Nope, don't need to do that. A sleek new recorder coming soon. I'm like, well, we don't need one. Yeah. So there's literally nothing in the new version that we need.
Right.
So if it allows us, which I'm hoping, to stick on this old one like for fucking ever, then why should we change?
Yes, exactly.
So I mean, I'm hoping that that's what happens. So, but yeah, I mean, at this point, there just doesn't seem to be any reason whatsoever to. There's nothing in that new version that I'd want to be like, oh, maybe we should check out this. This would be kind of cool. There's nothing in there that we want to use.
Right. Yeah. Well, just fucking record us and put it up there and leave us the fuck alone.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I'm thinking if they just allow this, the only thing that I find with software companies, and that's what this is. I mean, it's a software company just like anyone else, is that sooner or later there's a cost to supporting, any version that they have or any software instance or whatever they want to call it.
Sure.
So they may get to the point where they're like, we're just not going to do it anymore. Now, if and when that happens, and I'm guessing it's going to be a when that happens, I would think they're going to give people plenty of notice. Say that, hey, by we're gonna sunset this whole thing within 3 months. So by whatever date, and who knows? Maybe they'll keep this open for people through the end of the year, and then do it with that. Whatever it is, then we'll deal with it. I have no desire to fuck with it unless we have to. So
right, okay.
But I mean, it's just unless you want me to read that list again. Was there anything?
No, nothing.
Because I can. I mean, I can go through that again if you're unsure.
Sure, you're able. No, I'm very sure.
I know. Just fucking around. No, I could do it again. Come on.
Right. I know you're capable of it. I don't want you to.
fuck off and don't you dare read that again, goddamn you. But yeah, so it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I was actually just so happy because I was, by the time all was said and done. I mean, I by the time I got down here, it's fucking Wednesday, Wednesday night, and I'm like, I got to get in here. Look at this goddamn thing,
Right.
And it was like I think Wednesday night, and I was fucking tired. And it was just a long week, and all
Yes,
sort of
it
things.
was.
And then I looked at it, I'm like, oh, well, okay, then thankfully, just there's one less thing for me to throw on this plate of what I have for whatever life is. Not that my life is bad, but you know what I mean. So
Right.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's the update, and that's all that there is on that. There's plenty of shit to talk about, I think. So, yeah, that's it.
All right.
So what else?
All right, we're done. All right, so everybody, fuck off. We're done.
What else? Let me just put it this way. That's it for me. I don't have anything else to run my mouth about for at the moment right now. So
all right.
I got plenty of stuff. I got things that I wrote down this week. So I got stuff. I got things.
All right. So, well, I don't know. What do I got? I'm getting fucking old. I know that.
Yeah.
Every day creeps. Yeah. Well, we had a fundraiser for the Keating Center last Saturday. Yeah. I didn't make it to the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I bailed about an hour early, which I've never done.
Really?
Yeah, I was usual thing. I was working the politically incorrect Chinese raffle, which we don't fucking call it anymore. We don't call it that. We call it baskets now, but that's what it is. It's Chinese raffle. Yeah, my usual shit. I mean, got there hour and a half before it started, something like that, and got set up and had some friends. Our pal Leah was helping with that, so that was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and whatever, but yeah, about it was supposed to run. Well, it's supposed to run till 7. We usually start winding things down about a half hour early, 6:30, whatever. And yeah, it was hot as balls out there. I was under a tent. It was fine. There was a breeze, but about 5:30, man, I was just like, you know what? The girls were pretty much selling the tickets. I didn't do very well, which was fine. I mean, I sold I don't know, $300 worth or something, and yeah. But I mean, they were doing the lion's share of tossing the tickets out, and yeah, I was just like, you know what? I'm getting a little nauseous. It's hot out here. I've been drinking water. I ate. Everything was cool. And I was just all, fuck it, man.
Right.
I'm done. So I went over to our pal Jim and said, hey man, here's the money I got. I'm doing a Irish goodbye and I'm out of here. And I did.
Right. You know what? I mean, fuck it. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, especially with the, standing out there. So the extreme when we were out there in that cold, whatever that was a couple of Octobers ago.
Right.
And then the heat's no fun either. I mean, it's here's the thing, and I don't complain about the heat most of the time, because I still go back to whenever it was 7-8 years ago when again the real temperature, and I think you guys got hit with it too, but that real temperature in Wisconsin, it was like real temperature of 30 below, for a couple of days, and I mean that was the temperature. So with wind chills, I mean it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, and
I'm like, okay, so at this point forward, I'm like, I don't care how fucking hot it gets. I'm just not. I'm not going to complain about it,
Right.
But I want to be climate controlled when I'm indoors. That's it. When I'm outside, if I choose to be outside, I'm going to deal with it. But to your point, if I start, and I've had it happen before, you either you do a little bit too much or you didn't, whatever the case is.
Right.
And if you don't feel good, I'm like, I got to get the fuck out of here,
Yep.
But on circumstance like that, fuck it. Oh yeah, well I'll talk about it later too. Where I'm going and then where we're going to be in a couple of weeks. It's like 100+ degrees.
Yeah, I know. I've been checking see what. That's supposed to be sunny and 100 degrees. Yeah.
Yeah, little humid on top of that. So I think I'll explain what Kathy and I's project is too if we have a couple of minutes, because
sure.
Again, I'm going to be in 2 different places over the next few weeks. So I haven't been able to travel in a while for good reason, I suppose, for reason enough. I didn't have any money. That was a good reason.
Right. Yeah.
Or didn't have the money to spend on it. I mean, I could have always done it, but
Sure. Yeah, right.
You can always fucking do anything.
I could spend my whole paycheck in one night, no problem.
Yeah. Did you see that the meme I posted today? It was hotter than a crack spoon on payday, or a spoon in crack house on payday.
No, I did not.
Yeah, it's and I'm
I
like,
haven't. Yeah, I've been. Yeah, today was busy. So yes.
I'm just thinking that I'm like, yeah, this will probably get a reaction like that's inappropriate. I hope somebody does it. Just fuck you.
Right. Of course, it's inappropriate.
But
That's the whole point.
Is at least somebody can't say, what does this have to do with sobriety?
Yeah.
Yeah, got you there, fuckers.
Right.
You can complain about it, but it is what it is. So,
Mhm.
all right, man. But what do you think? So I'm just guessing here.
Mhm.
Got yourself a reading?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to dig around, but I found something that wasn't bad, and it actually kind of relates to you. So,
Me? Oh my
yes,
gosh.
you. I know. Right.
Is it as Bill sees it?
It is as Bill sees it, but a
Well,
different Bill.
okay.
But the subject matter has something to do with you.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm a little nervous here, possibly. I'm not. I was good. I can't even say I'm excited. I'm just like, oh God, what now?
Right. No.
No, just
It's
kidding. Just kidding.
all good stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, so yes, this is as Bill sees it. This is a letter that he wrote in 1960. And the title of this little deal here is Walking Towards Serenity.
Nice.
See, I see you walking, right? I heard somewhere that you hike. You're a hiker now.
I'm a hiker and a walker. Yeah, I am.
Yes, right. Yes. So here we are. Tightrope, street. Anyway, walking towards serenity. When I was tired and couldn't concentrate, I used to fall back on an affirmation towards life that took the form of simple walking and deep breathing. I sometimes told myself that I couldn't even do this, that I was too weak. But I learned that this was the point at which I could not give in without becoming still more depressed. So I would set myself a small stint, and I would determine to walk a quarter of a mile, and I would concentrate by counting my breathing, say 6 steps to each slow inhalation and 4 to each exhalation. Having done this quarter mile, I found that I could go on, maybe a half mile more, then another half mile, and maybe another. This was encouraging. The false sense of physical weakness would leave me, this feeling being so characteristic of depressions. The walking and especially the breathing were very powerful affirmations towards life and living and away from failure and death. The counting represented a minimum discipline in concentration to get some rest from the wear and tear of fear and guilt. That's a letter he wrote in 1960.
So, well, I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
I kind of resemble some of those things. So
Yes.
But all right, so it went towards the end, and I got to powerful affirmations. There was a couple of things after that, but I mean the basic thing, obviously, throughout that is that I mean it was an opportunity to get out there and way to blow off steam and way to kind of relieve depression and all that sort of things. Correct?
Yes.
But I mean, what are your kind of initial thoughts on that? Pick any part of it. It's all kind of the same and mixed together and intermingled.
Right.
I wrote out some like some highlights, but I mean, what are your thoughts on all that?
I mean, well, okay, so yes, we all get down, right? We all have problems. We all whatever, life starts to get a little crushing sometimes. Blah blah blah, and I mean, he's saying, yeah, absolutely. This is 1962, right? So he's been sober for 35, working on 40 years, right? And and he's still, life's getting to him sometimes. But yeah, it's basically saying, don't just sit there, don't wallow in your shit. Stop the pity party, get up off your ass, put one foot in front of the other, and do something. Something. Sometimes it is something just as simple, and set a small goal. I'm going to do this for a quarter of a mile, and then you get a quarter of a mile in, and you go, I'm just kind of feeling a little better. Maybe I'll go another quarter of a mile. Then maybe I'll go half a mile. Then, before you know it, you've walked 5 miles, right? I mean, it's kind of indicative of all of this. Yeah, you're getting down, whatever. Just get your ass up. Don't sit there in your shit and, do something. Sometimes it's simple and set small goals. I'm going to do a quarter of a mile. And before you know it, you've done that quarter of a mile and you're starting to feel a little better. And you go, do a little more. It's the same with all this, one day at a time shit. I'm going to go 1 day without drinking. I'm going to go 1 hour without drinking. I'm going to go 1 minute without drinking. You go that minute and then you do another minute and then you have that hour and then you throw a few of those hours together and you got that day. And then you throw a few of those days together and you got a week and then you got a month. And then before you know it, you're looking back at over 16 years going, fuck me.
Right.
It's been 16 goddamn years since I've put a mood or mind altering substance into my body. Holy shit.
Right.
And it all started with that. I'm just not going to do it right now. And yeah, it adds up, So yeah, I thought it was a nice example of kind of everything, and when you get down, get up. Don't sit there and go, oh, I'm fucking beat. I'm tired. I'm worn out. No, get up and do that quarter of a mile. And before you know it, you got 5 under your feet.
This isn't a running ad from REI, because it's mostly walking and occasionally flying. It's hitting your favorite trail with your favorite people who showed up for the same unhinged reason. And it's not just about fastest known times, but finding the funnest times. Because this isn't running, it's trail running. Get your gear for the trail in-store or at rei.com.
Well, and the thing of it is when and I started doing the hiking thing, and I know we joke about it. Hey, I'm a hiker,
Hey.
But when I did start doing that, and even through the times when I literally had a heart issue and I didn't know it, I was still out there, doing the walking and doing the thing. But the difference between then and now was I couldn't sustain it, and I didn't understand why. I just thought, to your point, the way we started this, fucking old,
I'm getting old, man.
Yeah, and I used to, if you remember, and I know I brought this up like right after I had the heart attack, and it had to have been true. I joke about like being an old Buick, and I had to get out there and blow the carburetor out,
Right.
And quite honestly, I think that's what I was doing, And I think if I would have sat just sat around and did whatever, I mean, shit, I probably would have had a major heart attack maybe a while ago. I don't know. Even when, prior to back when I was smoking and things like that, when I worked in the places in Madison, when I worked even a place in Milwaukee, granted, I would walk across to the other side of the building to get coffee and then go downstairs to smoke a cigarette. So I was going from not necessarily the most healthy things in the world, but I was walking my ass off all the time.
Right.
And there was a period of time when I couldn't, well, I didn't realize I couldn't gain weight. I was actually losing weight if I changed the way that I ate because I was walking so much years ago.
Right.
And this was after I got sober.
Yeah.
Because I was eating relatively healthy and then I started losing weight, So I actually had to eat heavier so I could, gain weight back. But so the difference in that and what I do now is, I figured that, okay, so they were telling me you got to get out, you got to make sure you walk, do whatever. And I'm like, okay, I did it to begin with to replace, it wasn't because I was depressed, but of course I'm not vaping anymore. I quit smoking a few years ago. I needed a replacement for that time. The same way going back to the sobriety thing. We used to go to a meeting every night, whether it's a 5:30, a 6, or a 7, during let's say happy hour, quote unquote.
Sure.
And I don't know that we, who knows, maybe these, alcoholic people out there that are setting up these meetings, bulk up that time of day for that reason. I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't,
Yeah.
But it was a replacement for what we used to do. And we tell people that whenever you feel like you might drink, do something other, change a little bit of a direction. And that includes, I'll read that in a minute because I have a story behind that one too. But so what I started doing was I figure out I'm going outside to take a break. Usually if I smoke a cigarette, it's, or vape, it's, 4 or 5 minutes, and I'm back in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to set a timer every time I walk for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get 4-minute walks in every time I take a break.
Right.
whether it's once an hour or whatever the case is. And I still do that. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes walk a little bit more, sometimes walk, I don't, I still set the timer, but that's what I do. So 4 minutes at a time, like today, for instance, I walked 4 miles,
Uh-huh.
and that's just, I worked all day.
Yeah.
And that was just literally, 4 to 8 minutes at a time, because I had a longer lunch today, so I think I walked for 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit longer time that, if I had time to walk, whatever it was. So, but literally at 4 minutes at a crack, 4 to 6 minutes at a crack, I get 4 miles,
Right.
which kind of goes along with this.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the other thing. Years ago, Dawn was the one that told me this when we were going through our shit. When Dawn and I were splitting up, and I'm having panic attacks and anxiety attacks, and
Mm-hmm.
she's the one that told me at that point. She's like, "You just go for a walk."
Yep.
And I tried it, and it didn't work because I was still, I'm still fucking loaded,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was counterproductive, of course. But the whole point was, is I was told this a long time ago, but didn't even. Well, shit, the Kylie Mile we were walking every morning at the Keating Center.
Mm-hmm. Get up and get moving, boys.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going back to, again, the Sober Friends podcast. Steve on there says all the time, move a muscle, change a thought. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought about that when you were talking about that originally, when you were started talking about this after you did the reading, and that's exactly it. Get off your ass and do something.
Uh-huh.
And if I am in a weird mood, I mean, I've done that before, since I've been doing this. But here's the other thing, and I mentioned I know I mentioned a lot, when I'm out, doing hiking or on a trail, just a walking trail, whatever it is, I rarely, and I mean fucking rarely,
Mm-hmm.
do I ever think about anything heavy.
Right.
And it's not because I'm like, don't think about that, don't think about
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
don't think about that. I just don't. Sometimes it'll pop into my head. I'm like, well, work sucks right now, and I'm not even thinking about that,
Right.
And it's even to that point to bring it up and say something like that. It doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
in a normal circumstance, I might dwell for a minute.
Sure.
Not while I'm out in the middle of the woods or anything like that.
Yeah. Right.
It never happens. It's fucking weird, but in the best way possible,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense. Look, our brains can only handle so much stimulus at one time. Right. Yeah. If you're staring at a blank wall, yeah, you're going to fucking start, all this shit creeps in. That's just the way it is. But yeah, you're out there and there's sun and birds and wind and leaves rustling and, your body, you're having to, you're breathing, you're moving your legs, you're having to balance and whatever, all this shit's going on that you're not even thinking about, but you're having to, you have to do it. That's what you're doing. You're walking, you're balancing, you're, looking to make sure you're not tripping over something. You're enjoying the splendor about you or whatever the fuck, but yeah, I mean, that's just it. We can only handle so much. And if we're giving ourselves, pleasant things and positive things, that the shit doesn't creep in. Imagine that.
Yeah, and that's a good point, and I'm glad you said it, because I was thinking about that too. Sometimes I am. I'm just paying attention and focus so I don't fall.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
And I mean, not because I'm on top of a cliff, just because there's there's roots and there's rocks. And,
right.
All this other goddamn shit.
I mean, it's part of the reason I enjoy my job. I fucking bitch about it and hate it, and it's a pain in the ass. But I mean, there's a certain, when I'm driving, I mean, I've got to constantly scanning and doing, and what's this asshole gonna do? Is he gonna cut in front of me? Oh yeah, he sure as fuck is. And whatever. And yeah, but I mean, it's constant. It's low level and it's whatever. But I mean, and like I'll listen to a podcast or the radio or whatever sometimes, and sometimes I don't, because just the act of driving and keeping this fucking 80,000 pound vehicle on the road is enough. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned that before, and that's a good point, because and that's what I don't want to say is difficult, but sometimes when you get on the highway and you're in your car and you're driving along, and it is easy to to kind of you're paying attention, but you're not paying full attention, and it's crazy, because you drive along and all of a sudden you're like, fuck, man, I got this rest area that was coming up 50 miles away. It's now 15 miles away. I'm like, what the fuck happened in the last X number of miles, and I'm just driving along, and I'm not texting, I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just driving along, I'm just doing my thing, I think I'm paying attention. It's just maybe you get just used to what, I don't know, is it second nature? But yeah, when you got 80,000 pounds underneath you and behind you, then that's that's next level shit, right?
Right. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily, whatever. You got 5,000 pounds, that you're cruising along and
Right.
fucking, yeah, well, they clearly don't. But, because I watch them all fucking day long doing really retarded, stupid shit. But yes. So not only do I have to control myself, but I've got to pay attention to the people not controlling themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I said that before too. That's one of the things that my dad taught me that years and years and years
Mm-hmm.
ago. And his dad taught my grandpa. His dad taught
Mm-hmm.
him that. This whole. It was his defensive driving and paying attention
Yeah.
and all these sort of things that I'll never forget. He had this. I know I told you this before. After he got sober, he would travel with this coffee pot, and it was
Uh-huh.
a pump pot, but
Right.
it was a double. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a side by side is what he
Yeah.
had, a double wide,
Yeah.
for his coffee pot, and that would sit on the passenger side floor,
Uh-huh.
like right there. And he had this cup, this plastic cup, like with the bottom part that would fit. They never had a lid on it,
Right.
but the bottom part would fit in his cup holder, so that piece, whatever that blip on the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
But he could drive down the road at 80 miles an hour. He'd reach over, he'd hold on to his cup. I'm like, you want me to get that? He's like, nah, I'm good. And with his thumb, he'd put cup under the thing. And with
Uh-huh.
his thumb, he just knew how many times to pump it to fill his cup.
Yep.
Never took his eyes off the goddamn road.
Right.
And would put this cup back in there, just keep on driving. I'm like, that's a fucking miracle. But he was taught that. He was taught.
Right.
At that time, you figure those cars back in the, go back to 1960.
Mm-hmm.
The 50s and the 60s, when the speed limit
Yeah.
was God knows what, and those
Right.
cars were like, they're not like they are today.
No.
You're driving a fucking just a hunk of steel on some wheels with barely any suspension.
Right.
You're going 80 miles an hour down a fucking road. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
here we go.
No anti-lock brakes. No, half the time they didn't have fucking power steering.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, it's none of that.
None of that shit.
But yeah, it's just that's honestly a good reading. And the thing, the biggest thing there, and I like the fact that it talked about depression in there too, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't necessarily have to be so anyone listening to this, if you got some shit going on,
Mm-hmm.
it's a everything that we just talked about, everything that Mike just said, and I didn't think about that, about the use of your senses,
Yeah.
even if you're walking down a sidewalk, because there's
Mm-hmm.
sidewalks in here, and I just walked up a couple of blocks and came back,
Right.
because I mapped out, whenever I go into a new area like that, I'll just set my stopwatch for 2 minutes, and then I know where to turn around and come back, and
Right.
I get my time, so. But even walking up there's cars pulling out of alleys. There's
Mm-hmm.
I'm crossing the street a couple of times. Who knows what?
Yeah.
There's a dog coming out of a house. Whatever the case is, I'm not just walking along, willy fucking nilly.
Yeah.
Sort of, but it's a matter of like you said, you're using your senses. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't have the time to think about any of this other fucking garbage.
Right. Exactly. And I think, one of the important parts, because Bill was pretty open about, he suffered from depression and shit, long after he got sober. It was a deal with him. And, but yeah, the big thing is don't fucking sit in it. Don't just get up, do something. Yes, I'm tired. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. Yeah, no shit. Of course you don't. You're tired. You don't want to. You don't feel like it. So fucking what? Do it anyway. That's, it comes down to, when I go to my home group, half the time I really, it's not like I'm all excited to go, oh yay,
Right.
I get, it's Sunday. I've been, like laying around the house, enjoying my day off, whatever. I don't want to fucking get up and go, but I do, because I know there's a larger purpose to it, and I need to be a part of that larger purpose, so yeah, my feelings don't go into it. It's like, well, no, I'm going whether I feel like it or not. And, of course I always feel better afterwards, but
Right.
yeah.
Well, and the other thing that I've said on here too plenty of times, especially in early sobriety, or even in handful of years, that we had under our belt, when these things start to hit
Mm-hmm.
you for the first time, and whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
if all else fails, I just fucking go to bed. I can't
Right.
go to bed when in the middle of a work day,
Yeah.
but when if I'm at home, which that would be. the reason I say that is that 9 times out of 10, like you just said, sitting in your own shit, if something's going on and you're in a position where you could easily sit in your own shit and wallow,
Yep.
and you can't get out to a meeting, you don't feel like fucking calling anyone. You're like, I got all this stuff, it's fine.
Right.
all that fucking bullshit we tell ourselves.
Nonsense, yes.
Yeah, and none of it's true. It's not fine. We don't got this. But we at least hopefully well, up until today, what time is it? I haven't found the reason to take a drink during those times. But if all else fails, I went to bed. I just fucking went to bed. I'd sit down and I'd try to watch something. I'm like, let me watch something funny. I'm like, I don't feel like fucking laughing. Okay, let's watch something with action. Well, okay, so that's fine. But then let's not watch something like, God, this goddamn thing's gonna make me think. I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I want to try to figure out what's going on here.
Right.
So fuck it. I'm going to bed. I'm just gonna go to bed. Well, when I remember when Uncle John died, I was went down to Mom's, and I don't, for the life of me, I don't even, I don't know why I had my big book with me. I think I actually had the physical book with me, and I still I think I did. I don't think it was on my phone yet, but after all said and done, I mean, I was a fucking wreck, and everything's fucked. Everything's fucked.
Right.
And I don't know what to do, and I just read the big book.
Yeah.
And at that point we were 2 years and 8 months. Yeah, 2 years and about 8 months sober, when he died. So and I remember I read the big book. So maybe I did. Maybe it was on my phone. I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter. I don't know what I read. I don't know where I read it. I don't know if it was in a book or on my phone. It doesn't matter. But I sat there and I just read the big book, because I didn't know what else to do, know. And then, after Kathy got down there the next day, she's like, are you going to stay, whatever? Like, I got to go back to work. And she's like, you're going back to work? I'm like, I don't know what else to do. I got to go back to work.
Yeah.
And I showed up to work the next day, and I remember our HR person, she's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I was just honest with her.
Right.
And my manager at that point, he didn't know what was going on. I said, do you know what's going on? I told him. He's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah. Right.
So
I need
here
to do something. Yeah. Right. I need to be productive in some sort of way. All this shit that's going on over here, there's nothing I can do. Right. I need to be productive. I understand that completely. Yeah. So, I'm going to go to fucking work.
That's what it was. I'm just like, I'm here. And then I ended up, whatever it was when the funeral was, I took a couple of days off because, do things. But, but that's exactly kind of what you're talking about. It was just, I don't, when you don't know what to do, do something
right.
that is not negative, something that just completely, the other direction or whatever the fucked up thing is, or whatever the case is. Yeah. And, I know we learned that lesson a long time ago, but what a great reading to bring all that shit back up to the surface. I mean, seriously, Mike, I think that was I think it was great.
Yeah. Well, once again, it wasn't me. It was Bill Wilson.
No, I know, but I'm just saying you picked the reading. So I mean that in and of itself, I think it's just I don't know why it just seems
pick me.
Probably, yes. The universe.
Right.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, you know what? Whatever the deal was, then that was all fucking good. So
yes.
Very good. So what else? Anything else that jumped out at you in said reading?
No, I think right. Don't wallow in your shit. Don't take don't bog yourself down with ooh, I can't. No, you just fucking do it, man. Just, be Michael Jordan and do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So, the just real quick about stuff that kind of went on this week. And again, these are all, kind of tests and testaments of, I didn't even know what they are. It's just I was stressed out over the last couple of weeks. You figure last week, it was the cold. I mean, I missed time from work because of that. Again, out of my control. I couldn't fucking talk. I couldn't do anything.
Right.
So I missed a little bit of time there, and then the air conditioning went out at Kathy's house. So that went down. I can't remember now what day that went down. Sunday, Monday, whatever the case was.
Really?
It's either she's either going to get she may even have made a decision at this point. It was, I mean, the power went out after that, so nobody could have done anything anyhow.
Right.
But it was just the blower fan on the unit went out. So, the short story is they're like, oh, you could just do this, or you could just replace this whole thing.
Right.
And she was just kind of vacillating on what to do. So,
right.
One way or the other, It should be fixed maybe by the time you
It
get
better
there.
be. Yeah, I was gonna say by
next by Wednesday or
yeah, 2
no,
weeks.
next week
Yeah,
Wednesday.
the following two Wednesdays from now, it better be fucking working.
Well, and here's the thing: is that she doesn't want to deal with it. I know that much, and I know that the dogs can't. Tugger can't handle that heat.
Yeah,
He was
right.
he kind of gets sick from it. So that happened. So that's one thing. It's warm enough, sometimes in that room. Just you and I were talking about it, the way the sun hits it, and blah blah blah.
Right.
And then take the air out, and it was hot outside. It was like fucking 85 degrees, almost 88 degrees,
Yeah.
whatever in there. And that's when I was talking about kind of being when I said before about being indoors. It's
Mhm.
but it again it is what it is. It
Sure.
just kind of is what it is. So then on Tuesday, this storm's rolling through and it's really fucking bad. You're looking outside and you're like, God, it's just crazy wind, crazy rain. Kathy was going to go down to West Lafayette.
Mhm.
Something that's where the credit union she works for is based out of. They had this whole
Okay.
thing going on, and she heard the tornado warnings, blah blah blah, and turned around and came back, and then
Mhm.
ended up going back that night. She went down to have dinner with Kylie and Mike,
Mhm.
so she ended up going there anyhow and ended up staying the night. She's like, oh, there's air conditioning. And she's like, and power. And I'm like, yeah, okay, have a great time,
You're on your own, motherfucker.
Yeah, and it's like, well, what am I going to do? I mean, I can't do anything.
Right. Yeah.
So, Tuesday, it's 11:30 on Tuesday, and the power goes out. And then, their estimates at one point literally were Sunday that the power is going to be back up. And Kathy's friend Cheryl, Cheryl.
Yeah.
She knows somebody at in NIPSCO, which is the electric company, and blah blah blah. They were estimating that there was like 300,000 people without.
Yeah.
And there, that's where Kathy heard the potential of Sunday, coming back. So on Tuesday, I was driving around. I'm like, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee, do whatever, blah blah blah.
Right.
And so I'm literally everywhere. I go up to, the entire that whole area. Everywhere up from Route 6, where you get off, up in Route 6, all the way down to like Walmart and stuff like that. Fucking powers out like everywhere,
Yeah, right.
Because I'm just trying to find a gas station to get a cup of goddamn coffee,
Yeah.
So I end up going this south of there, not too far. It's like 15 minutes away from the house, theoretically, from where I started or from where the house is. But there's a expo center down there. And a Family Express right on the edge of town. They had power, they had gas, people lined up fucking everywhere to get gas and all that shit. So that's where I went that day, and I just sat there for a little while, grabbed some coffee, and I'm just, kind of just hanging out. And I'm figuring, okay, whatever, at least, I just get someplace other than just sitting I'm sitting in my car, at least in the air conditioning.
Right.
And charging my phone and whatever. So.
Right.
So then, get up Wednesday, there's still no fucking power. So I'm like, I drove out to that gas station. And I grabbed coffee. I sat in my car and I did my readings, in that same gas station.
Right.
And I'm like, I was about to do my readings before I left. I'm like, no. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to go get some fucking coffee and I'm going to sit and do my readings. So I did.
Right.
And then I'm like, there's still no fucking power anywhere. So I'm like, I can't, I'm thinking of this thing tonight. I'm thinking of work. I'm thinking I already missed time. I'm already a full day, or a half a day, and I'm going to be out this full day one way or the other, on Wednesday. So I'm like, fuck it. So I found this Airbnb, and that's as I was hinting to everyone before, I'm in Indianapolis right now. 2.5 hours south of
the
where
crown jewel of the Midwest.
And you know what? This place that I'm in, and I'm serious. If this house, and I'm not shitting you. So between if you just took literally your bathroom, your whatever your what's the room right outside of your bathroom? The front. It's not a dining room, or is it? Living room?
No. Dining room's off. That's I call it the library, but it's
okay. So the library. Okay, so bathroom, library, dining room, and kitchen. That's how big this house. That's how big this house is.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah, and it's fine, know. But the problem is, I'm thinking, I get in here, and I'm like, where the fuck am I going to put my work desk? So what I did, I put it, and it's kind of like, it's technically in the middle of it's in the way of the door. I have to move the desk a little bit if I want to open the door to get outside. But everything's here, the cable's here, and whatever, and everything worked. It's all functional. It's fucking fine,
Sure.
But I figure, just get here for a couple of days, and then I had already planned on going down to Nashville, and I'll explain that in a minute. And then we're going to be out in Austin, obviously, for the award ceremony. But I had planned on being down there for 2 weeks,
Mhm.
So as of next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, the 22nd, I'm driving out to Texas. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So, and the whole point there is this, I've been hinting about this for a number of months. I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining it. I'll end up flooding our Instagram feed with it over time anyhow. So anyone who's listening or whatever, you'll hear plenty about it. So Kathy and I, Kathy is our sister, and I had talked about this for a long time. We were both looking for something kind of from a retirement standpoint. I despise my job and I want to get out of it. And I've done all this traveling through Airbnb. I know what I'm doing as a traveler. So I'm like, I think I know what I'm doing as a host because I know what people want, because I know what I want. And I've been in plenty of properties.
Yep.
So Kathy and I started talking about it. We started doing the research. And that's what we're going to do. We're actually launching an Airbnb hosting business. It's a lot of fucking work. It's a lot of research. There's licensing, there's permitting, there's a lot of things going on, but things are starting to kind of fall into place a little bit. And that's why I figured that one way or the other, I wanted to be out in Austin for a couple of weeks because I thought at that point, at the time that I booked that Airbnb, which was, I'm thinking that, okay, because we had already looked at Nashville for a place to launch this whole thing. So I'm thinking, okay, Nashville's going to be set. Austin would be the next one in line since we're going to be there. And it's also right tying these lists. So that's why I booked the 2 weeks, figuring that all that. Well, things didn't line up until like recently. So, we didn't get anything set yet. But that's the point. So I'm here doing just work. Nashville, hopefully I was referred to a guy by our friend Breeze. Breeze was on our podcast twice. Breeze is based out of Nashville, although I'm going to miss her while I'm there. She's in Australia until the second week or first week of September, so I won't see her. But at some point, I'll be able to get to meet our friend Breeze. But so she referred me to a realtor. This guy knows everything that we're doing as far as the Airbnb stuff, the short-term rentals. Couldn't have gotten a better referral, So that's in place. A couple of struggles, some challenges we got working on in both places, but all said and done, that's kind of what it is. So, for everyone out there, that's what I've been kind of hinting at, talking at, and I don't know. It's kind of like, again, throwing my shooting our wad into the wind is literally what what's being done again. And I've done so much fucking research. I've spent a lot of time, spent a lot of effort, doing it. I've talking with our sister the entire time. I'm using AI, because the amount of information that I can compile, with AI, is just, it's been invaluable, and there's only been one or two things that it's missed, nothing critical yet, that I'm finding out as I start to do the licensing and permitting and stuff like that. But, but everything else, all this research, because I talked to this guy, Jason in Nashville, this realtor, last Saturday. I had a phone meeting with him, and when I kind of ran down everything with him, he didn't say, no, you got that wrong. A couple of things he added to the conversation, but everything that I've learned by the research I've done has been correct, which is kind of encouraging, which
absolutely,
kind of is what it is. I get it. We talked about the AI kind of concerns me on this end, but it's been my pal over here too, but again, it is what it is. So it's exciting, but it's scary. And, it's just, again, one of those things. What the fuck? And I'm not saying what do you got to lose. Of course, I know exactly what we have to lose, but it's money and time,
Sure.
But we have, Kathy and I talked about it deeply. If, what if this happens and what if this doesn't happen? We have contingency plans on how this is, and we're not buying property, we're renting. There's a whole thing with that. It's called rental arbitrage, which we're getting into. And this guy in Nashville not only knows what it is, he does it, so. Yeah, we ended up with an invaluable resource. So
imagine that you found somebody in the rooms that pointed you in the right direction.
Right. Yeah. And that's what when I thought about it, I texted Breeze yesterday and I told her, I said, I need to thank you. And she's like, I'm so happy for you. And then, I'm like, it's, we still got a lot of work to do, but I said, I couldn't have, prayed for, made up, designed, drew up, anything better than this guy. And he got me some information today. The inventory is a little light in Nashville based on what we're looking at. So we're going to have to kind of expand a little bit on what we're looking at. But I don't know. We've got the right guy in place is my point.
Cool. Nice.
And then Austin, I checked with our friend Erica. She gave me two realtors. One lady fucking blew me off right away. The other one won't get back to me. So I'm like, oh. But
Right.
so I guess I got to get more resourceful in Austin. But
Mhm.
there are two prime areas that we can do this in. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it kind of is what it is. Again,
Yeah.
like I said a minute ago, it's exciting and it's scary, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, all the numbers work and everything seems logical. It's just everything's got to, like
Yeah.
anything else, got to fall into place. So.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
But anyhow, so yeah, everyone you're going to end up hearing probably more about that than you want
Mhm.
to, but over time, I mean, we're going to use our this Sober Not Mature network the same way as I've done it for in my book and everything else that
Yep.
we've done. I mean, this is our vehicle, this fucking thing that we're doing here.
Right.
Turns out to be the biggest non-money making thing on the planet. Is our vehicle for everything else that could make us money. So
Yep.
But anyhow, so that's it for that. We'll hear more about it later. But what do you think? What do you think,
Yeah,
Mike? Are we at a point?
I think we are at a point.
Okay.
Well, we'll be back with more putting one foot in front of the other right after these words from our sponsors.
Hey, Mike, I have a question for you.
All right, I may have an answer for you.
So if you're one of our fine listeners and you wanted to know a little bit more about the podcast, more than just listening to us ramble, where would you go as a listener? What do you think you'd do?
I believe you would go to SoberNotMature.com.
Ding. Ding. Okay, good. Now, next question is, what if you've been, I don't know, seeing us on social media, you've seen our t-shirts, you've seen some of the pictures we posted, and the person's like, you know what, I want to be cool like those guys and get a t-shirt or a coffee mug. Where would they go for that? I know this is a tougher question, but where would they go for that one?
They would go to SoberNotMature.com.
They could do that. Yes, you're right. Because once you're on SoberNotMature.com, they can hit the store link and go to our second website, which is SoberNotMatureShop.com.
See, I was going to say store. I'd have screwed it up.
You know what? The thing of it is you got it right the first time. Everything people want is go ahead with the first website.
SoberNotMature.com.
And if you mess around on there, you're going to see everything we have. Obviously, we have our merchandise. See a little bit about us, a little bit about our background. We posted some other things on there. But I don't know. You can even sign up for our email list. And here's the good thing. We barely email anyone ever, so you're not going to get spammed.
Oh, no, absolutely not. That would be like effort on our part, and that's not going to happen.
Right. I have never used our mailing list yet. I may at some point, but that would take structure and discipline, which I don't think either one of us have, do we?
I know I don't.
All right. So just to wrap up here, to visit our main website and get to everything that is us, where would they go, Mike?
SoberNotMature.com.
Visit that today, right?
Right.
Okay, I think we're done. Are you done?
I'm done.
Bye.
Bye.
This isn't a running ad from REI, because it's mostly walking and occasionally flying. It's hitting your favorite trail with your favorite people who showed up for the same unhinged reason. And it's not just about fastest known times, but finding the funnest times. Because this isn't running, it's trail running. Get your gear for the trail in-store or at rei.com.
All right, everyone. Welcome back. I'm just really happy to have my voice back. All righty. I never thought that being so fucking stupid and corny I would actually miss it, And you're like, oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay, two things.
Yeah.
So Joey Pants, I told you I was listening to that book. So this is kind of funny because this happened to both you and I, and we talked about it. But he still hasn't gotten to the point when he got sober, but he's talking a little bit more about kind of leading up to that point. But he said he woke up one night in a blackout and pissed on his nightstand.
Nice.
And I'm like, well, I pissed in a drawer. You pissed in John Stamos' old closet.
Right.
I still think that's so funny, and I get it. It wasn't his closet at the time.
No.
It's just the fact that you were in an apartment that used to belong to John Stamos, and it pissed in the closet.
I did.
That's fucking hilarious. And then I was listening to, and I know you like Jim Norton. So he was on he was on Rogan a while ago. I started listening to it, then I lost track of the episode whenever it was a few months ago.
Uh-huh.
So I found it again and I was listening to it, and I just this line I couldn't stop laughing. He's fun to listen to. He's not. Well, let me step back a little bit. And I've said this
Mhm.
before about the way that podcast is set up, and
Yeah.
I truly one of the reasons that I enjoy the podcast, and I mean this seriously, we're at no I'm not trying to say we're at any level that Joe Rogan is, and
Yeah.
popularity or anything like that, but the conversations that he has, although way different subjects than what we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
are kind of structured the same way. He just has somebody on and they just talk,
Right.
and even Mark, Marin, I mean, he had
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing, but his podcast was a little bit more structured as far as he was moving people along through what
Yeah.
he wanted to talk about,
Right.
which I'm not, faulting him for that. There's a huge
Mhm.
difference between him and Rogan and anyone else.
Right.
But I think that's part of what it attracts me to that podcast is the fact
Mhm.
that it's kind of like he has conversations kind of just off the cuff like we do.
Okay.
So when he's talking to a guy like, Jim Norton's not up there being Jim Norton all the time,
Mhm.
He's just being a guy. But every once in a
Right.
while, the Jim Norton that you see on stage and is fucking
Yeah.
ridiculous and crude and all those different things come out.
Mhm.
And this was one of them. So Joe's talking about this comedian. I think this comedian he was talking about comedians going somewhere overseas, Saudi Arabia maybe.
Yeah.
That some of these billionaires over there will, call them like comedians or prostitutes or whatever. And that's, I mean, for the sole purpose, they just want to like shit on them. That's what these guys do. I mean,
Uh-huh.
literally like
Yeah.
shit on them,
Sure.
and they'll pay them like $500,000, these women to come over just to get shit on.
Yep.
And so Rogan's talking about, he goes, yeah, he goes, this comedian, whoever it was, he goes, he
Mhm.
used to have a bit about that, he used to do this joke about, shitting on hookers. And Jim Norton says, he's like, oh my God, my life. And that was it. They
Yep.
both laughed and then they went on with whatever they were talking about. But fucking Norton's just like, oh my God, my life.
Yep.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Cause yeah, I mean, I've watched plenty of his specials and stuff like
Oh, yeah.
that. So, all right. So I'm going to bring this up for maybe one reason and one, well, I don't know. I'm going to bring it up either way, but
Mhm.
I'm sure you can't, unless you've been living under a fucking stone. Everyone I think has heard that Brad Pitt started drinking again.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yeah, even I,
Yeah.
I heard that.
well, and that's I don't know how anyone could not. It's like
Right.
everywhere type of
Yeah,
thing. But
right.
okay, well, let me stop there. I'm not going to give any thoughts or anything like that.
Mhm.
So when you first read that, did you have any
Mhm.
opinions on it whatsoever? 70 years sobriety, and now he started drinking again.
Right. That's his fucking business. Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's got nothing to do with me. Yeah. Maybe he can. Maybe he's not an alcoholic. I don't know. It's none of my business. I don't know. Yeah. We'll find out. Because he's fucking famous. So if he speaking of shitting, if he shits the bed in a big
Right.
way, we'll find out. And if he doesn't, then maybe he's not one of us.
Right.
Maybe he just took a break like a normal fucking person, or now he's drinking again, and he can do that like a normal person. I don't know. I
Right.
don't know the guy.
So I was just gonna be sarcastic. So you don't know Brad Pitt? I
No, I don't.
Well, and the first thing when I saw it and I saw his picture, I'm scrolling through social media, and
Mhm.
2-3 times, I mean, over a day's time, I saw his picture and didn't pay attention to him. 'Cause, I mean,
Mhm.
in a general sense, I mean, I like Brad Pitt as an actor. I like
Sure.
a lot of his movies. I think he's funny. He's great in a lot of different movies.
Mhm.
Burn After Reading was one of the best fucking ones.
Mhm.
If anyone hasn't seen that movie, it's fucking hilarious. George
Right.
Clooney, Brad Pitt, the
Yeah.
chick from Fargo's in there. Other people, it's fucking hilarious. John Malkovich is in it. It's fucking great. Okay, but I didn't stop on him to read whatever. It's just like,
Right.
whatever, And then
Mhm.
finally, I saw that it's like, oh, after 7 years, he started drinking. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like,
Mhm.
like, well, that's interesting. And then the first thing I thought about, well, two thoughts I had. I'm like, well, I guess we'll see how this works out for him.
Yep. Yep.
So that was number one. And then number two was, I'm like, I wonder if, because I mean, everyone's making it. Then I start to, your eyeballs start to see all the things that
Mhm.
Bradley Cooper's worried about him. Angelina Jolie's worried
Mm.
about him. All these people.
I saw the headline and went, oh, okay, and moved on.
And all of these other things are the headlines. These are all
Yeah.
headlines.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that.
Well, in the problem is that I stopped on it too long. You know, I didn't
Right.
read the article, but I stopped on it too long. Then they're like, okay, we're gonna feed this fucker more of this shit. Now I get it all over the place.
Right.
So, but then the other thing I thought about, so you and I have experienced at least 3 people that I know of. Our buddy Pete to begin with, our buddy Tom,
Yep.
which I haven't seen Tom on Facebook in a while. I hope he's okay.
Yeah. Right.
Haven't seen anything about him in a while. I know you saw Pete a handful of years ago, but you know Pete was doing Pete things at that point.
Sure.
And then who's the one of the girls did, right? Went back to drinking.
Yeah. Bo.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, I couldn't remember who it was. So we know 3 people in general that have that. Like our buddy Pete. Just I don't know if anyone. We've told this story before, but the bottom line is really really easy. Pete was a high level executive at a company, making a lot of fucking money, married, kids, had the whole dream job type of thing, traveling all over the place, but like to smoke weed. Right? Right so far. Okay. And then his company was going to or started testing. Obviously for weed. Yeah. And so he decided to go from weed to cocaine, correct?
Yes. Yeah,
and then at that point
he smoked some crack on the weekends.
Yeah, and then he made his own crack. So so he manufactured his own crack, and then he's like, well, I'm going to do that instead. So that part of it seems a little like weird. I mean, especially if you know him, highly intelligent, great guy, whatever, laid back. I'm going to quit smoking weed, but now I'm going to end up.
Well, because his company was drug testing, and weed stays in your system for like 30 days as opposed to cocaine, which stays in for a couple of days. So he was all right. So, well, I still want to party, but I can't do the weed anymore because it stays in me for too long. So I'll just do the coke and the crack, and it'll be out of my system in a couple of days, and I'll be fine. Yep.
I know. It's the thought. I mean, again, everyone out there, it's just one of the many stories of friends of ours that this was logical to Pete at the time.
Sure.
And
makes sense to me.
I get it too. And that probably would have made perfect sense to me also. Why wouldn't it,
Right.
But then what happened was Pete lost everything, I mean, it caught him and got on his back, and he fucking lost everything, and he ended up at the same time that we were in the Keating Center, so was he.
Right.
So at the time, if I remember correctly, that all this stuff was happening, he was just a casual drinker, but he'd drink every once in a while. More it was the weed, and then obviously the crack and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So all said and done, after the fact, I think you saw him before. I don't remember. I may have seen him once, but I remember. I think you saw him, and then he had. I don't want to say fessed up, but it came up in conversation that he was drinking again. Yeah. And he goes, he just found out that wasn't his problem, and he has a few beers here and there, and he's fine.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And, same thing, our buddy Tom, after I think I was in Madison at the time. So whatever, we were 4 or 5 years sober, and he had mentioned that I don't think he made it past. I don't want to say made it past. He ended up with 4 years or whatever of sobriety, and then was, I think, in Florida with his family and friends, whatever, and drank down there, and then it sounded like was keeping his shit together,
Yep.
And then same thing like you said with Bo.
Yeah.
But my understanding, and you're the one that heard it or know of it more than me, but same deal with her, right?
Yeah, pretty much, right. I mean, just everybody that, shows up at the Keating Center or rehab or whatever, comes into the rooms, blah, 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 blah. They're not all alcoholics, they're not. They're heavy drinkers and whatever, or whatever. They developed a problem, and the substance was part of it, but, whatever, they solved whatever problem that led them to being out of control with the substance and whatever. And, they solved that problem and they can drink like a normal person. It happens,
right.
I'm clearly not us.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the weirdo that got it on the first try, but I mean, I was in and out for quite a while, several years, before I went back out for 10 years and then came back. But I proved to myself, literally proved to myself that I can't drink like a normal person. Tried. So, it's not an issue with me, but there are people that do, they, whatever, solved the underlying problem that was making their life out of control. And, because the big book says, alcohol is just a symptom. Heroin and crack and all that other shit is just a symptom of whatever the underlying problem is. I'm thoroughly convinced that I also, on top of having the problems that drove me to it, whatever, I'm also a true alcoholic. I have, the allergy that they describe in the book. I'm bodily and mentally different than my fellows.
Right.
Yeah. It's just whatever. It reacts differently with me. I have the obsession and I don't have the obsession anymore, but I'm very capable of having the obsession. Yeah, that's me. And I'm sure that's you.
Right.
But yeah, it's not everyone. And certainly can't judge. And I mean, these people have proven, Tom and Pete and Bo and lots of other people, they go through a period of sobriety where they're clean and sober and whatever, and they go back and they have a little substance, whatever that substance is, and they're fine.
Right.
God bless them. Wish it was me. I
Right.
wish it was me, but it ain't. So fucking A, man. I'm not going to look down on them. I'm not going to raise them up and go, wow, I wish. And yeah, they're better than I am. No, they're just different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing of it is that and yes, I mean this is I never tried to get sober. I was too stupid and too delusional to think
Right.
I ever had a problem to even try to quit,
Right.
And whatever that is, it is. And again, to this day, I haven't relapsed yet, But the thing of it is that everything that you just said, I believe you. Like our sponsor Joe says, I believe you.
Yeah. Right.
And I believe me, even though I haven't tested it yet, because
Right.
I've heard the stories, I've seen the stories,
Mhm.
I've watched people that drank like me and acted like me and did everything like I did.
Right.
And who am I to think that I might be different? I mean,
Right.
granted, who am I to think that I might be different? I mean, I could easily think that, but once I got my head out of my ass that popped and all those different things, and we got some knowledge behind us,
Yeah.
and had a few years behind us, and I listened to enough stories and all those sort of things. I don't know how long it took me to really come to that realization that okay, that I believe all the stories now. I believe everything that I've seen. I don't need to do the research because it's been
Right.
done. It's been done for me.
Yes, it has.
And I don't need to walk in front of a train to realize that it's probably going to kill me either.
Yep.
I don't need to take this thing, whatever it is, eat something or whatever the thing is. I don't need to have this thing to realize that, you know what, that's probably not a good thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So back to the whole Brad Pitt thing is that the problem that I've seen so far on social media, and I'm gonna cast a wide. Well, okay.
Only one.
with this particular instance, there's a ton of them, and yes, you were very, very not only right but justified to laugh at me when I said the one problem on social media. Okay, so with this particular instance, specifically to Brad Pitt, the issue that I've seen is that everyone that's talking, and I'm going to say everyone because every other podcast I've heard, every other article I've read, everyone's like, this is so bad because what if people, it's like, what if people follow his lead, this and that. So then the other thing I heard, Conor McGregor, did you hear that one?
No.
I actually laughed when I heard it. It says, Conor McGregor announced in August 2026 he's ending his period of sobriety in support of his fellow actor Brad Pitt.
God,
I know, and I'm like, is this a fucking joke? Because I mean, he's kind of a he's a meathead.
Job.
Yeah, he's a nut job and a kind of a meathead and all that stuff to begin with. So whatever. I mean, if he did it, but then I hear other people are like, I'm reading this again. I didn't listen to it, but I see this thing because now I'm getting fed all this stuff because I stopped at this one goddamn thing too long. And I see this guy, and he's sober, and I'm reading the subtitles basically. And he's like, the problem is that he feels that he can do, and I'm like, oh fuck. And then it's like, well, what if other people think? Not everyone can do that. I can't do that. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Okay, so here's the real thing, and this is the part that fucking irritated me. And I'm like, we things we talked about for fucking years.
Yeah.
Okay, if you look at Brad fucking Pitt or Brad fucking Johnson down the road, I don't give a fuck who you're looking at. If this dickhead goes back to drinking after however many years, and you're like, well, if he could do it,
This isn't a running ad from REI, because it's mostly walking and occasionally flying. It's hitting your favorite trail with your favorite people who showed up for the same unhinged reason. And it's not just about fastest known times, but finding the funnest times. Because this isn't running, it's trail running. Get your gear for the trail in-store or at rei.com.
probably can. Then, okay, you got more fucking problems than Brad whoever fucking drinking.
Yep.
So if that's what it's going to take for you to fucking relapse, I'm not going to tell you that you deserve it. I'm just going to tell you that what the fuck, whatever you're not doing something correctly. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm judging. I'm big time fucking judging.
Yep.
If Brad Pitt is going to make you drink again, you've got more problems than that. I'm telling you, you need to look a little deeper because there's more fucking problems than Brad fucking Pitt.
Yeah. You're a fucking idiot. Yeah.
Where's the Tylenol?
Right. I believe Charles Darwin had it correctly. Yes, it's called natural selection.
Yeah.
If you're going to go and ruin your life because Brad Pitt just figured out that he can go have a drink, whatever. First of all, it has nothing to do with me. God.
Yeah, so that was the only reason I brought it up.
Let's see. Bill Wilson did acid in the 60s, so So I guess it's okay for me to go drop some acid.
Right. Well,
right.
Why wouldn't it be?
Right. Hey, let's go cop some now.
Right. Exactly. Well, we'll be in Austin. We can get acid in Austin, can't we?
Sure. Yeah. You can I can get it in Cleveland. You can get it in fucking Indianapolis.
Well, I don't want to go by myself, though. I want to ruin somebody else's life along with mine. I'm just going to do it on my own.
All right, fine.
Fine.
Fine. I'll wait a couple of weeks.
Yeah, let's plan this shit out right. They say a relapse happens long before the first drink, anyhow. So let's play. Yeah, what he said. Yeah. But yeah, we're making jokes about it. But yeah, that is what it is. Fuck Brad Pitt. Fuck anyone else that goes out there and relapses. Not fuck them, but if who gives a fuck? Exactly what Mike said. That's why I wanted to get your opinion I'm glad that I shut my mouth and got your opinion first.
Yes,
because I agreed with you 100%. But that was the only thing on there that just. I mean, I thought about again the Pete's and the Bows and the Toms, and then the other thing I thought about is just I'm sorry to say it, but you're a fucking idiot. If you're gonna go out and start drinking again because Brad Pitt thinks it's okay, then fuck you. Go
guy you saw in a movie once. I mean, okay, so Pete and Tom and Bo are friends of ours.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean,
they can do it.
Yeah, right. If I'm gonna someone personal I know personally, I respect. Not some idiot I've never met before, but somebody that I have a relationship with. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna rationalize that bullshit. No, fucking A, man. It all comes right back down to the only thing I can control is me, and I can barely do that. So, whatever anyone else does in this entire world has very, very little to do with me, and sure as hell somebody that I've never met is, some guy that acted in movies that I liked.
Right.
Okay. So...
I know.
Richard Burton and fucking Peter O'Toole and I mean legendary fucking drunks, man. I love their movies too. So
I agree. Okay, enough about Brad Pitt. Maybe if nothing else, maybe we said it enough. I'll have his name in the description. Maybe we can at least get a couple of clicks off the dumb fuck,
or not a dumb fuck. Who knows?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, Brad Pitt's not doing anything wrong. I'm sorry. The other people around
or he is. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't mean to call him. You're exactly right. I didn't mean to call. I meant the dumb
maybe
story.
Maybe he's doing something wrong. Maybe he's not.
Correct.
Again.
Yeah.
What the fuck's it got to do with me?
Nothing. Yeah, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with you. All right. So, speaking of another podcast, and this time one that I do not have a rant about, I actually had, I talked about, and I know I mentioned him a couple of, I think a couple of weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
The guy's name is Shane. He's from That Sober Guy podcast. He's the one that said that he wasn't labeling himself as an alcoholic anymore. Just didn't feel like the label fit him. Again, wasn't out there drinking again, blah, 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 or having any illusions about that. But I'm just reminding everyone of how I brought him up the one time.
Right.
So I just again saw one of his clips, and his episode, and this one was from July 9th. And the episode, I think the title of the episode is "Everyone is Exhausted, but Nobody Changes Anything." Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I actually listened to part of it because I thought that grabbed me. That I'm like, okay, so let's kind of check this out, see what it is.
Sure. Yeah.
So he was actually talking a lot about like what we do and don't do to stay healthy or not stay healthy. And not we, I mean everyone.
Right.
things that people do to either stay healthy or not stay healthy, distractions, stress, all of it. The episode's about 30 minutes long. I guess I did listen to the whole thing or close to it.
Yeah.
And basically, if anyone, if you want to get, it's a good episode to listen to because what it talks about is basically us as people. And, he's a sober podcast, obviously talking to the sober community. So why are you exhausted? What are you doing or what are you not doing?
Yeah.
And how do we kind of get out of it? And he talks about social media, talks about taking on too many commitments. He talks about taking time for yourself, all these things like, just in general, what we can do to be healthier individuals.
Sure.
And, kind of what he's talking about is, taking responsibility for ourselves. So, okay, so you're overwhelmed. Everyone's busy. Everyone's overwhelmed. Everyone's doing this, but you don't fucking do anything about it,
Right.
So whose fault is that, right?
Yes.
But anyhow, so that Sober Guy podcast, July 9th, it's a 30-minute episode. I just think it was good because there's and don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on, in the world and everyone's lives. Always. We got more things going on now these days, even with something as simple as, and it's self-inflicted, social media. Sometimes we get drawn in, we get, scrolling and doom scrolling like we had talked about. And, maybe deep down that stuff actually is causing us stress. I don't know.
Sure. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it's a good episode, and he's not a podcast that I listen to on a regular basis, but I happen to pop in there and I liked it. So
yeah, right.
All right, so a couple other. God, I didn't realize I had so many podcast things. I got a couple of things from the.
I just I saw today. I literally when I was sitting down and eating my pizza, I scrolled for a minute or two. I haven't been on very much at all. I haven't been paying attention to anything. But apparently, Mark had his 27th anniversary.
Oh, was it 27? You know what? I saw something.
Unless it was an old clip, but that's when it popped up. And he was just he was talking. It was a very short clip. He was on another podcast, and I kind of recognize a female comedian he was on with. I don't know exactly who she is, but I've seen her. And they're talking about early sobriety and shit, and it was I thought it was interesting. It was like he was talking about early sobriety and all the feelings coming back and all that shit. You you don't know what to do with it. It's overwhelming, right? And at the end of it, it was, I love when Mark talks about suicide. It just cracks my ass up always, right? And he's all, there's this one phrase, and I loved it, and I wanted to share it. Made me think of it when we were talking podcasts and Mark Maron. He's all, don't kill yourself in the first 5 years, because if you do, you're killing the wrong person.
I've heard him say that before. Actually.
Yeah. So I like that. That was good. Right. Yeah. Wait till you're 20 years in, then you're killing the right person.
Right. Yeah. And that's, it's unfortunately true because, and we were talking about it with Lane when she was on again. Each one of us had a weird fucking relationship story from from that
5 years. Yeah.
That 5 to 6 year period. And it is. I mean, you're still fucking nuts.
No,
5 years is a long time. I'm not saying that I'm not still nuts today, but I think I'm possibly at a different level, or maybe hopefully a little bit less nuts at times. I don't know.
Right. At least have a handle on our nutsiness. Yes. we recognize it, and we have tools to deal with it today. How about
Right.
that?
Yeah, that is the case, and it just and things that got under my skin, shit, even at 10 years or 12
Right.
years,
Yep.
that don't bother me today, or maybe it bothers me, but I'm like, yeah, I know how to deal with it.
Yeah. Right.
I don't like it, but I understand how to
Mhm.
deal with it. But
Right.
I mean, it's got to be with anything. I mean, so what's going to happen at year 18, or 19?
Yeah.
There's going to be some. I mean, shit's going to come our way. It always
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
does.
Yes, it does.
Felt like life was just going to be like, ooh, everything's cool now. You're at 16
Right.
plus years. You're good.
Yeah. Right. Now it's all the strawberries and orgasms 24/7. Woohoo!
Right. Yeah, all we had to do was make it to 16 years and how many months? 4 months.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, 16 years and almost 4 months. So yeah.
Yep.
Imagine that. All right. So but yeah, anyhow, happy anniversary to Mark. And I think you're
Yes.
right. I think 27, and I saw that, and I was actually just scanning my sheet. I thought I wrote that down, but I clearly I forgot to. But I didn't watch the entire clip. I think the same thing. It was a subtitle thing where I saw the 27 or whatever it was.
Right.
Whatever the years where I saw it, but 27. I mean, I'm gonna guess you're exactly right on that, because I don't remember. All right, so sober friends, and this one I thought was kind of interesting. God, this kind of goes along the lines of what we were just talking about.
All right.
So again, this goes along with the Sober Friends podcast. Our friends Matt and Steve over there, they were talking about gutting it out. Okay, so if things are tough, figuring we can get through without assistance. Okay, so what I thought was interesting is we were just talking about that with any assistance or help or whatever. So I guess my question on that, or what are your thoughts on that? But I think we were already just talking about that, weren't we?
Yes.
I didn't remember what I wrote down on that, but so our thoughts on that, we need help, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, if we haven't proven to ourselves yet that gutting it out and doing it ourselves and relying completely on ourselves doesn't fucking work, it's time to go back and look at some other stuff, because right. I mean, and I still have the inclination to do it, and I still sometimes even try to do it, but I know better, right?
Right.
If it's serious hardcore shit, man, problem shared is a problem cut in half.
Right.
And it's fucking true.
It
absolutely is. I mean, yeah, just like I said, I'm still prone to do it. I'll do it, and then it'll start getting to critical mass, and I'll talk to somebody for fucking 20 minutes, and oh fuck, it's relieved itself. The problem's not solved. It's still there, and it's whatever, and blah, 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 blah. But I've shared it, and maybe I get a little advice. Maybe I fucking don't, but I just got it out to another human being. And sometimes that's enough to relieve that pressure that we've allowed ourselves to build up. Dumbasses.
Right. And you know what, the thing with it is, we've talked about it before too. Sometimes it's just a matter of like you just said, just getting it out.
Yeah.
Getting it out in the open, because sometimes just saying it out loud, you're like, oh fuck, what do I even, why?
Yeah. Really not that big of a goddamn deal.
Yeah, you're like, you finish the sentence, you finish telling somebody like, fuck it, I just figured it out, it's all good, thank you.
Right. Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Yep.
You just fucking walk away. You're like, yeah, I didn't need anything, But here's the other.
Needed to spew it out, relieve that pressure.
Well, and sometimes it really is, because it seems like such a big deal when it's rattling around in this fucking pea brain of ours,
Yep.
But when you literally get it out, and either the person doesn't even have to react to it, because 9 times out of 10 they don't.
Right.
It's just a matter of I just heard myself say that, and I'm disgusted with the fact that I've been wrestling with this for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 fucking weeks I've been wrestling with this, and I mean, all I had to do was I could have said it out loud to myself in a goddamn shower.
Right.
It would have been fine.
No, it wouldn't have. Right. There's something about doing it to another human being.
I know.
Yeah. Right. And actually saying it out loud to another human being and going, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Because we say it to ourselves. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't count. Yeah.
Right.
No, you actually have to say it to another person. When you do that, it's like, oh yeah, now I hear it.
Did you hear yourself?
Yes.
Did you listen to yourself? Yeah, unfortunately I did. All right, so here's a funny one from Sober Friends. We got another shout out from Sober Friends, and this
Cool.
one I think you'll laugh. So Steve was talking about having some sort of a GI issue, okay, and he wasn't really going at it, but then Matt's like, I get it. He goes, I've had it happen to me too. He goes, I ended up with diarrhea every once in a while. So they're talking back and forth. They're sharing these stories, and then Matt says, he goes, for Bill and the guys over at SoberNotMature, he goes, this is the loose stool portion of the program. I started fucking laughing. Steve literally started laughing out loud. He's like, oh, that's funny. He goes, that's funny. But yeah, so again, Matt and Steve over there, this is a lot of fucking fun. I enjoy this back and forth. It just it's inadvertent, but sometimes it makes me hit. Well, almost all the time it makes me fucking laugh.
As opposed to our podcast, which is all loose stool all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Where we have to say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the sobriety portion.
Yes, this is the portion that's not about loose stools.
Well, actually, with the exception of, Jim Norton shitting on whores, Joy Pants, that was Brad Pitt, that was, the reading was, everything but Jim Norton shitting on hookers.
Yeah.
Everything else has been sobriety based. So, okay, let's write that one down.
Well, and hey, Jim Norton has been sober since he was like 18 years old. So
yeah. Yeah,
so
he was talking about that too on the pod. Yeah,
sure.
Of course. Yeah, he's a sober guy.
Yes, he is.
I almost forgot about that, but yeah, he had talked about that a little bit.
Yep.
All right, so this one starts out with podcast, and I don't remember what this one is. So let's see if this is a complaint or if this is something positive. They were telling a story about a work situation that went weird and how it was handled effectively because of sobriety. But then the individual said, "Well, I'm not going to drink over." Oh, okay, I remember this now. So here's what it was. It was the individuals like basically had a shitty day. Something got all fucked up at work, but they were able to get through it, because of their sobriety and all that stuff.
Right.
But then the individual said, well, and this was kind of a nonchalant kind of thing, and I wanted to throw it by you and see what you thought. Said, well, I'm not going to drink over a work situation like this, but okay. So that was kind of like a nonchalant. And then I thought about it. It took me a minute, but I thought about it. And, basically that the person said, because it was a minor situation and they weren't going to drink because they had a program and blah, 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 but my thought was, okay, so people do drink over these little things, right?
Sure.
So it seemed like kind of a nonchalant. So any thoughts about that? I mean, I don't know that I would ever say that it felt like the person was minimizing something that could actually be a problem.
Right.
Does that make sense or no?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I'm not going to drink over fucking anything.
Right.
Right now, at this very moment, I'm not drinking over anything. Big, little, whatever, big in the moment, little in the grand scheme of things, big in the grand scheme of things, and little in the moment. Fucking A, man. Don't qualify it, man. That's dangerous.
Right.
To me. Yeah. Don't. It's small, so I'm not. Shut the fuck up. How about just it doesn't matter. I'm not going to drink right now today because that's what is important to me. And the rest of it is going to move along like it always does. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird qualification that I sure as hell wouldn't make.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, and that's why. Hang on one second.
Yeah. I did it for you.
Yeah, sorry about that. But it caught me weird, and to begin with, I didn't know why, but I know what you mean now. It was qualified. That's what it was. That was the word that I was missing in my head. It was qualified. So anything can be something to drink over.
Well, fuck yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have the right program, it could be huge. More than likely, it's the big things. And we had heard this, I know I know I've heard it on other podcasts. We've heard people tell stories about it.
Sure.
And I'm a firm believer of a lot of times these big things are not the things that people drink over. It's the little things.
Yeah.
Because the big things are what's magnified. That's when you're like, okay, a family member died. I went through a divorce. Something tragic happened. Some big event. So I have to go talk to somebody and I need help.
Right.
Whereas these little things over here, this work thing that's at me or them. little short on money over here, whatever the case is.
Mhm.
These little things are what eat at people. Or
Yeah.
like our buddy Seth, he got a fucking flat tire and just
Yeah.
on the wrong fucking day,
Yeah.
and pulled into a gas station, got a flat tire and couldn't change it because the spare wasn't there, whatever. This comedy of errors basically happened to him, just from getting a flat tire.
Yeah.
And he went next door to the liquor store. He called a cab and went to a hotel and went on a fucking bender.
Yep.
Now, was it the spare tire? Was it the flat tire? Of course not.
No.
I mean, we know that.
Mhm.
He did not have. He wasn't working the right program. He didn't have the tools in place to deal with something. Again, don't get me wrong. A fucking flat tire and not having a spare. I had that happen twice since I've been sober.
Yeah.
Twice. So when it happens, it's really fucking frustrating. But
Yeah.
but you got to have the right. You got to have the foundation. You got to have the program. So to your point, and I'm glad you used the word qualified because that's what I was missing. I couldn't figure out how to explain it. Is that the fact that this individual qualified it as it's just a little thing. I'm not going to drink over that. Well, maybe not today, but not that you couldn't or wouldn't.
Yeah, right. I mean, again, dangerous, man. I don't allow my brain to go there because it can very easily, and I start doing that, then then I'm qualifying this and I'm qualifying the other thing, and all of a sudden I qualify my ass right into the fucking bottom of a paper bag.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so thank you. That I couldn't rationalize that this little brain of mine. So, but now I have. So
right.
There's an I mean, I'll save that one. It's not a big deal. So I'm gonna read one more from Keep It Simple, maybe two. I got little bits and pieces from Keep It Simple.
Right.
Today I'll make a list of places that mean trouble for me, places I need to stay away from. This I think was from today or yesterday. Do you have a mental mental note of places that you know you won't go or you stay away from? Or
East Cleveland. It's got nothing to do with fucking drinking. It's fucking dangerous over there.
East Cleveland.
Yeah. The actual city of East Cleveland, they've got like 2 cops, literally. Yeah, it's scary over there. No.
Is it really? Okay. I actually
yeah.
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, that was just in the news a couple weeks ago. No, it's
Really?
but I think it's not 2. I think it's like a dozen, but still, it's it's a high crime area, whatever. No, they can't get cops to work there. There's like maybe a dozen for the entire city.
Right.
Yeah. That's dangerous. No, there's I mean, I'm not going to go sit in a fucking trap house and twiddle my thumbs while everybody's getting loaded. I'm not going to go sit in a bar in the middle of the day with nothing else to do. I mean, but seriously, if I'm hungry and the place has got really good hamburgers, I'll go sit there for half an hour and eat a hamburger. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
It's not going to bother me. No, there's no other than, danger. I don't know, the end of a fucking runway at the airport where planes land. I'm not going to sit there either.
Right.
Yeah. But as far as to my sobriety, no, there's nowhere that's dangerous to my sobriety other than between my 2 ears.
Right. Yeah, and I think we've talked about this before because I think you said I'm not going to go sit in the trap house and the end of a runway where the planes land.
Yeah, right. Middle of the fucking freeway. I'm not going to sit in the middle lane of fucking I-80. I'm not going to do that. That's stupid.
I like the runway.
Yeah.
But I don't really have. I mean, I don't go hang out in bars, but to your point,
Right.
I mean, if there was someplace I pulled in someplace and I'm like, I knew that this was the place that had like really good food.
Right.
I go sit, probably not on a regular basis, but I may go grab a burger or something there.
Right. I want one of those burgers. They're really fucking good. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to order my food. I'm going to eat it and I'm going to leave.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, when I was in Memphis, I went to that that rib place, and then they seated me in the bar. And to begin with, when they were first going to seat me back there, I'm like, "Do you have a?" I'm like, "That's okay. I can fucking eat back here."
Yeah.
And then whatever time I got done, it was I remember the music started at 7. I think I got done eating at. I think I got there at 5. Got done eating at 5:30 or so, and I remember asking the bartender because
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, "What can I get you to drink?" And Diet Coke. He's like, "Oh, okay," And I ordered
Right.
2 of those, and while I was sitting there eating, and then
Hmm.
I said, "When's the music?" I said, "I'm gonna go, walk up and down and just people
Yeah.
watch for a little while." So I didn't want to sit in the bar for the next
Yeah.
hour and a
Right.
half,
Yeah. Right.
and
Why? Yeah. There's shit.
exactly.
To your point, there's shit out there you wanted to go look around. Go look around.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah. I
there's
know what the fucking inside of a bar looks like.
yeah, there was nothing for me to do. It just, if
Yeah.
nothing else, just out of sheer boredom, I didn't want to sit in the
Yeah.
bar for the next hour and
Right.
a
Yeah. It's got
half.
nothing to do with sobriety. It's just
Right.
fuck. Yeah. Man, there's booze bottles. There's a mirror. There's a wooden bar. There's stools. There's drunks. Yeah. Okay. Now what?
I was sitting at a table too. I was sitting at a table against the wall. But the funny part is when I went back in there and I got in there like it was like 5 after 7,
Mhm.
whatever the case was. And first of all, I walked back in. The bartender, I right away saw him, and he's like, "Another Diet Coke for you?"
Yeah.
And as literally as I walked back in, it was so fucking cool. And I know I
Yeah.
told that story before, but it was
Right.
just, it was really nice when he noticed me, and he didn't charge me
Mhm.
for it. And I
Right.
was sitting there, and he came up and asked me like because I was there like 45 minutes or something. He came in like
Yeah.
halfway through, and he's another Diet Coke for him. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I was there long enough until there was something, that internal clock went off, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it started to fill up a little bit, and I'm like, it was so fucking great. I had such a good nice time listening to blues music, and then I left. It was
Yeah.
fucking
Right.
great.
Yeah. Then you're done. Okay.
Yeah,
I've
I
heard
stayed
it.
until it was time
Yeah.
to leave. It was just
Yeah.
it was good. It
Right.
was just really good.
Yeah. Freedom, motherfucker.
I know. Yeah, it was really, it was just really, really nice. It was really nice. So,
Ah.
um, well, actually, one more 24-hour book.
Right.
I pray that I may be satisfied, or I'm sorry, complete opposite.
Hey.
Complete opposite. I pray that I may never be satisfied with my present state. So
Yeah.
my question to you is, do you agree with that? And if so, why?
I mean, yes and no. There's one of my answers.
No, I mean, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, yes, I don't want to become complacent. I don't want to yes, I want to remember that there always can be more.
Right.
And stuff that I'm not even aware of that I'm going to really fucking enjoy. I can't forget that, but I also, I'm pretty fucking satisfied right now,
Right.
with my life and is it perfect? Hell no, but it's pretty good,
Right.
and again, that's a kind of a dangerous line for us to walk because one of again the core issues of being an alcoholic is wanting more, right? Undeservedly wanting more. So yeah, it's down to that balance again. Yes, I've got to remember that there is more out there than I have, and I'm certainly entitled to it, but I'm not. I can't demand it, and I have to be happy with what I have.
Right.
Because what I have is fucking way more than I deserve and way, 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 way more than I ever fucking had before. So, yeah, it's the balance. Yes, I want to remember that there is more out there. I don't have everything, but I also don't demand that I have more undeservedly. If I'm willing to go out and earn a little more happiness, a little more whatever, a little more peace of mind, cool, work for it. But at this point, I don't want to work that fucking hard anymore. So I'm pretty grateful for what I have.
Well, that kind of reminds me when so again, back to this whole Airbnb thing that our sister and I are doing. And I talked to Mike about it. I mean, I think it was either after an episode or whatever it was, or I don't think it was in person. I think we were talking on here, and I just said, okay, I explained the whole thing to him,
Right.
because I mean, the podcast thing, it is a business, and it's me, Mike, and our sister, and
Right.
that's our business, and we're all part of it.
Mhm.
We're not making any money off of it, but it's
Yeah.
ours,
Yeah, right.
It's our little money pit, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, it is.
So I laid everything out to him, and I'm like, do you want to be a part of this thing? I mean,
Yeah,
the same way.
right.
He's like, I have no desire.
Yep. No, I don't.
you're like, no, I get
Yeah.
no. I have no.
No, I absolutely appreciate the offer. Thank you for thinking of me and including me, but it just doesn't interest me. It's not
Right.
something. Again, what am I willing to work for? And that's not one of them. Yeah,
Right.
And when I explained it to you, I'll explain it to our listeners. The American dream, the entrepreneurial spirit. Owning your own business, being your own boss, does not appeal to me at all. Never has, never will. I don't fucking care. I don't want to be I want to work for somebody else. You take all the responsibility and the liability and all that shit. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I'll work for you. You give me the money for the work that I do for you, and we go our separate ways. That's the way I like it.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's, I mean, literally there's 100%. I didn't think or affect it. It had no effect on me whatsoever.
Right.
It was just one of those where I needed to, I felt an obligation because obviously we do all these things together, and it wasn't even an obligation. I wanted you to be a part of, if you wanted to be a part of, but I would never look at you and be like, why don't you want to be a part of?
Right.
And the other thing too is, like I said, there's ways for all of us to to share in the success over time if it happens, and we're all doing a lot of work on a lot of different levels. It's just because this one little piece over here of this thing that we're doing doesn't make any money. This thing that we're doing right now has been the vehicle for anything and everything that we might hope to do. And that's, I'm 100%. That's not even a joke. That's not even anything. This thing that we built, whatever this little thing is here that we built, is the vehicle that we need to do anything else, successfully from all the other possible options or ventures that we have.
Right. Exactly. Well, bring it back down to the working the steps, running the program in the Keating Center. All that. That's the little enterprise that we started together, and this is an extension of that, and then other things are an extension of that, but it all comes down to sitting in those goddamn dorm rooms in fucking August of 2010, sweating our asses off, and
and you know what, when honestly when the power was
toilets
out when the power was out and the air conditioning was down and all that stuff, I swear to God, I thought about the Keating Center. I'm like, I got through this before. I'm like, and it was fine. The only thing is, every once in a while, I would just be sitting there and I would get this wave of rage that would come over me. You know what I mean, right? It's just, I'm not mad really, and it's nobody's fucking fault, and I didn't like freak out or yell at anyone, but it's just, you're sitting there and it's like all of a sudden it's like your back gets a little sweatier and you're like, this wave of rage would just come over me and I'm like, fuck. And that's about the extent of it. I'm just like, whatever, man. It's just whatever. It's just fucking whatever, So,
and like most feelings and emotions, they last for a few seconds and move along.
Exactly.
Then you feel something else.
God damn it, you just ruined it. I was going to say, hey, speaking of moving along, but
yes. All right.
You didn't ruin it. I was just trying to jump in on your. I interrupted you, but I was being selfish.
Okay. Selfish, cool.
So anyhow, speaking of moving along, Mike.
Speaking of moving along and being selfish, I'm fucking done with this shit.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to yet another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, go out and do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't fucking tell anybody you did it. Now, from the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul, from the beginning of time until the ends of the earth, always and eternally, fuck you. Now it's time. It's time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying, you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate. Dream the impossible dream. And keep fucking off forever. Bye.
You're sitting there and you're like, hey. I laughed out loud when you said that. Okay, real quick. Do you have a pen?
Yes.
Do you have pen and paper handy or no?
I have a pen and I can have paper.
Okay, I want you to write something down. Everyone
Eh.
too, if you have an opportunity, play along at home. This will take only
Hang on.
about 2 minutes.
I gotta slide my chair over. Hang on. This is it. All right. I have a pen in my hand. Hey. All right. Now I have a pad of paper and a pen.
Okay,
Go ahead, Bill.
Write down the name Bob, B-O-B.
Yes.
And then last name Loblaw. Okay? Don't say it out loud yet, but that's so Bob and then Loblaw. Okay?
Loblaw. Okay.
Loblaw. Okay. So Scott Baio, this was an Arrested Development thing. I'm done watching the series. It got stupid towards the end. They're onto their Netflix days when they were just trying to fill time and space and blah blah blah. But anyhow,
Okay.
so Scott Baio came in as so again Henry Winkler was in it. Scott Baio,
Fonzie and Chachi.
yeah, and Ron Howard does the narrating. So I mean,
Right.
it's this whole thing. It's just actually kind of funny. But and I completely forgot that Scott Baio came in and he was an attorney and that was his name, Bob, and then that's his last name. So now say it out loud, say it together.
Bob blah blah.
It's Bob blah blah law.
Yeah.
But when you say it, it's just like blah blah blah. And for like 3 or 4 episodes or 5 or whatever it was, these half-hour episodes, I swear to Christ, every time they would say it, and I don't know why it was catching me. I've watched the series, I don't know, 3, 4 times. Every time they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go see blah blah blah." It made me fucking laugh every goddamn time because his character, I mean, Chachi, the fucking Yahoo character he was, he's just completely straight up and serious the entire time.
Right.
His whole character, if you ever get a chance to watch it, anyone does. I'm not going to give away the scenarios because the rest of the whole thing is kind of funny with him, but just the name, blah blah blah. So anyhow, I still can't fucking say it without laughing. But anyhow,
all right,
that's it. I had to have you play along. So all right, I know for one, I love you, brother.
I love you too.
And then I believe we'll talk soon.
We shall, sooner than usual.
Oh yeah. What Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know what? Oh yeah. That's all perfect. I'll tell you later anyhow. But all right. So I think we're all good, right?
We are good. Sure.
Bye.
Blah blah blah. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.